What if we told you that somewhere in Africa, a man is building cars that never need charging? No plugs. No gas stations. No grid dependency. A vehicle that powers itself, runs silently, and keeps going endlessly. It sounds like science fiction. But this is the vision coming out of Zimbabwe. And now, it has the full attention of Elon Musk. Meet Maxwell Chikumbutso, a quiet, brilliant mind from Zimbabwe who may have just shaken the entire automotive world. For years, Maxwell worked in silence, away from global headlines, far from the boardrooms of Detroit, Tokyo, and Palo Alto. His goal wasn't just to build another electric car, it was to remove the need to charge it altogether. He calls it the green power machine. At first glance, it looks like any other electric vehicle. Sleek, futuristic. But under the hood? Something extraordinary. Maxwell claims his car can generate its own energy as it moves. No need for a charging cable. No stops at EV stations. No dependency on the power grid. It simply keeps going. How? According to him, it's a unique combination of electromagnetic conversion, radio frequency harvesting, and microenergy generators working together to create continuous motion. It doesn't rely on combustion. It doesn't rely on solar panels. And somehow, it doesn't run out of power. Local demonstrations began to stir curiosity. Observers were stunned as the vehicle ran for hours without any external input. No wires. No wall connections. No fuel. Just motion, constant, clean, and silent. At first, no one outside Zimbabwe paid attention. But when footage of the vehicle started circulating online, the world began to ask questions. Is this real? Could someone really have cracked the code to infinite clean energy? Among those asking, Elon Musk. Tesla has built its empire on batteries, range, and charging infrastructure. Billions of dollars have been poured into supercharger networks, battery R&D, and energy optimization. But Maxwell's invention would make all of that obsolete overnight. If a car can truly power itself while driving, it eliminates the need for charging altogether. That means every EV company on Earth would be forced to rethink its foundation, from Tesla to BYD to Lucid and Rivian. Imagine never having to stop to refuel or recharge ever again. That's not just convenience, that's global disruption. No more charging stations. No more electric grid stress. No more lithium mining dependence. It would change logistics. It would change shipping. It would change the very foundation of how we build and power machines. Elon Musk, known for his obsession with disruptive technologies, has allegedly shown private interest in Zimbabwe's innovation. Though he hasn't made public statements, some insiders believe Tesla engineers have quietly reviewed Maxwell's published claims. Whether they believe it or not remains unclear. But one thing is certain, this is not being ignored. But here's the twist. As incredible as Maxwell's breakthrough sounds, the world isn't exactly cheering him on. There are powerful interests who stand to lose billions. Oil giants, utility providers, auto manufacturers, battery producers. If this invention truly works, it doesn't just compete with them, it erases them. Maxwell has faced resistance at nearly every turn. His patent applications have stalled. He's been called a hoax, a fake, even a scam. And yet, no one has definitively proven him wrong. His prototype exists. His car runs. And his supporters are growing by the day. In Harare, Zimbabwe's capital, Maxwell continues his work in a lab that looks like something out of a futuristic film. Coils buzz. Instruments glow. Schematics line the walls. It's part garage, part laboratory, part battlefield for a man fighting against the current of industrial giants. The implications of his technology go far beyond just cars. His reportedly developed self-powering drones, generators that run off ambient frequencies, and even plans for aircraft that would never need to land for fuel. If any of these reach scale, the entire global energy structure could shift. Skeptics demand peer-reviewed proof. Scientists argue about the laws of thermodynamics. But Maxwell isn't trying to win a Nobel Prize. He's trying to bring energy independence to the people who need it most. In countries where power outages are daily life, where fuel costs crush communities, And where infrastructure barely exists, a self-powered car isn't just innovation, it's liberation. Still, the resistance is strong. Because if Africa leads this revolution, the balance of global tech power shifts. It means the next wave of energy innovation won't come from Silicon Valley, it'll come from Zimbabwe. And that's a future some aren't prepared to accept. Maxwell continues to work. Quietly. Determined. His inventions are now drawing attention from grassroots innovators, African tech hubs, and even a few bold investors overseas. Some see him as the next Nikola Tesla. Others call him the dreamer the world tried to bury. But the tide is shifting. What was once dismissed as impossible is now becoming undeniable. Video proof. On-the-ground testimonials. Quiet whispers from industry insiders. Something is happening. And the old systems are beginning to tremble. If Maxwell's self-powering car reaches global markets, it won't just collapse the auto industry as we know it, it will rewrite the rules of energy, ownership, and power. From Zimbabwe to the world, a new chapter could be starting. One where energy is free, movement is unlimited, and the gatekeepers of the past are left behind. And as the world watches in disbelief, one question remains. Will they stop him? Or will this be the moment Africa leads the charge and leaves the rest of the world racing to catch up? Maxwell doesn't speak much to the media. He's not a social media star. He doesn't make bold public claims. Instead, he stays focused on the work. His silence speaks louder than hype. He lets the machines do the talking. And for those who've seen them run, the reaction is always the same, disbelief. But that disbelief is slowly turning into something else. Curiosity. Because the world is desperate for alternatives. The promises of electric cars have been only partially fulfilled. Charging times are still long. Batteries still degrade. Infrastructure is still lacking. Even in developed countries, EVs are limited by access and logistics. Now imagine millions of people in rural areas, developing nations, or places without stable electricity, suddenly being able to own a car that powers itself. No need for a gas station. No need for a charging grid. Just turn the key and go. If it works, it breaks the cycle of dependency that has lasted over a century. This isn't just about technology. It's about freedom. It's about creating a future where energy is no longer controlled by the few. Where transportation is not just for the wealthy. Where Africa, often overlooked in the global innovation race, takes the lead. And perhaps that's why the resistance has been so fierce. Every disruptive idea in history has faced doubt. The light bulb, the airplane, the internet. They were ridiculed, laughed at, suppressed, until they changed everything. Maxwell's invention may be no different. Too advanced to be believed. Too threatening to be welcomed. Too powerful to be ignored. And yet, here we are. Even if he's wrong, even if the science doesn't hold up under scrutiny, the world has already been stirred. Conversations are happening. Doors are opening. Young inventors across the continent are now dreaming bigger. And the question has shifted from, can this be done, to what if it already has? Elon Musk built Tesla to break the oil industry. But now, he may be watching someone break the very foundation of electric vehicles. Not with $1 billion lab. Not with endless VC funding. But with raw determination, creativity, and a belief that energy doesn't have to come with a bill. It's ironic, really. The man who set out to disrupt the world is now watching the world disrupt him. The auto industry is quietly taking notes. Companies once confident in their roadmaps are now reassessing timelines. Could Zimbabwe become the center of the next industrial revolution? Could an African inventor outpace the giants of Detroit, Tokyo, and Germany? The idea isn't as far-fetched as it once seemed. In fact, it may be inevitable. A world where vehicles power themselves would look nothing like the one we live in today. No gas pumps. No charge stations. No power grids tied to fossil fuels. Just motion. Freedom. Sustainability. But the path there won't be easy. Maxwell will face opposition. Legal hurdles. Financial pressure. Scientific backlash. Maybe even danger. Revolutionary ideas rarely survive without scars. But if he continues, and if the world listens, then the change will come. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not overnight. But step by step, prototype by prototype, the pieces are falling into place. And as the world's largest tech companies prepare for a future they thought they had mapped out, one man from Zimbabwe may be preparing to rewrite it from the ground up. So the next time you hear about electric cars, don't just think Tesla. Think bigger. Think different. Think disruptive. Because the future of clean energy and transportation may not come from Silicon Valley. It may come from Africa. And when it does, the collapse of the auto industry as we know it won't be a tragedy. It will be a rebirth. One built not on control, but on possibility. Not on monopoly, but on independence. Not on profits, but on people. And at the center of it all, a self-charging car that changed everything. The world is changing. And sometimes, that change doesn't come from where we expect. It doesn't come from billion-dollar boardrooms. It doesn't come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. Sometimes, it comes from a humble workshop in Harare. From the mind of a man the world chose to ignore, until now. If Maxwell Chikumbutso's invention is real, the road ahead won't just be electric, it will be unlimited. No wires. No boundaries. No limits. Just motion. Just power. Just a future, reimagined. Because in the end, it's not just about cars. It's about rewriting the rules. And maybe, just maybe, that revolution starts in Zimbabwe. If this story blew your mind, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button to join us as we uncover the inventions the world doesn't want you to see. Thumbs up sign, tap like if you believe it's time Africa gets the spotlight it deserves. Speech balloon and tell us in the comments, do you think Zimbabwe's self-charging car is real? Would you drive one? Or is the world just not ready? We've got more untold stories, secret labs, and tech that defies belief, coming soon. Subscribe now. The revolution is just getting started.